Hello all, or should I say dearest gentle readers. I'm Remy and today I'm going to be reviewing every single book cover of Romancing Mr Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. I loved season 3, I know a lot of people didn't, but I did. Penelope and Colin have always been like my favourite characters, even when I wasn't actually like properly watching the show. Like when I would catch episodes of it, it was always those two that I was like intrigued the most by. So yeah, I really loved this season. I liked the book. They've announced some really beautiful hardcovers, like collector's editions of the books, and that made me think, how many different versions of the books are there and what are my opinions of them? And if you're wondering why Romancing Mr Bridgerton and not like the other Bridgerton books, well, it's because Penelope and Colin are my favourite, and I kind of want to see if I can collect most of the English copies. That might be a task that might not get done, but we'll see what happens. But then I thought, let me try and review all the covers from all over the world. A bit of a disclaimer. First of all, I am so sorry for my appearance. I tried to, you know, look very Regency. I'm not wearing any makeup though because it is boiling and I'm suffering, but I'm suffering for what is hopefully art. Unfortunately, I couldn't find as much info regarding the different pressings of each book as I would have liked. I'm used to websites like Discogs that are very detailed, and when it comes to like different pressings of vinyl records, I thought it would be the same for books, but in the case of Goodreads and Bridgerton, it's not. So all my info here about the year and the country and the image is from Goodreads. If it's wrong, I'm really sorry. Please let me know in the comments. If I've missed any, please let me know, and if there's enough that I've missed, I'll make a part 2. Also, the translations of some of the international books are from Google Translate, so if any of it is wrong, I apologise. Also, these opinions are mine, so if I accidentally call one of a pressing that you think is beautiful ugly, I apologise. I thought let's get the English ones out the way first. The first one we're going to be talking about is the first edition of Romancing Mr Bridgerton by Julia Quinn, paperback and hardcover. This was published in 2002. Some websites say 2003. Again, I couldn't find the exact information. What do I think of this cover? I think the font is cute. The little handkerchief with the kiss is very cute. It's very like, ooh, whoops. Like I can imagine just her like dropping it and like Colin picking it up. Very similar to the scene in like episode 1 of season 3 with that other debutante. I don't love like the overlay of like what looks like a very cloudy day with just a random fancy stately home. What saves this book is the image of Colin and Penelope that is included in the step back versions of the paperback, as well as some editions of the hardcover. This image is beautiful. Like, it's very Mills and Boon, very classic romance novel, very dramatic under the moonlight, and Colin's shirt is ripped open. But I think it's very sweet. I do love it. I think it's very romantic, and that's what we want. It's very Romancing Mr Bridgerton. I feel like if I had the paperback without the image or the hardcover without the image, I wouldn't like it as much. However, I do like, it is a first edition and it was made like, it was published 22 years ago, so I'm not going to hate it so much. It's okay. Like, the step back image definitely saves it, but I don't love it, you know what I mean? Next up is the mass market paperback version. Now, Goodreads says this was made in 2002, but it also says 2009, so I don't know. I like this one. It's pretty basic, you know, it's just an illustration of a stately home, but I like that it's at night. It kind of makes it more romantic than just like the cloudy overlay of the first edition book. I also like that it's blue because, you know, Bridgerton and blue, and I really like the shade of like, is it like Cambridge blue that the words are in. It's nothing like too special, but I like it. I think I prefer it over the first edition version. I just wish that this mass market paperback had the step back image. I think that would be beautiful, but it doesn't. So now we're at the large print hardcover, and I hate this. This is everything I don't like about the first edition, but 100 times worse. First of all, what is that? What is the image? It's an extreme close-up of a house, of a stately home, I imagine, and it doesn't even look nice. That with the font, it's just, it's giving school textbook. Like, what is this? I can see that like there's like a small photo of what we assume is Colin and Penelope in the O, but it's like it's too small. Blink and you miss it, which is ironic considering this is the large print version of the book. This is just boring and bland. And the house is ugly. I hate it. Okay, so this is the first UK print of Romancing Mr Bridgerton, and as you can see, it's a very different vibe from the books we've seen so far. It's less dramatic Mills and Boon, more like gossipy, light-hearted kind of rom-com type vibes, with like this illustration of these two ladies. Now, I love the whispering that the ladies are doing because it's very much giving the gossiping and like Lady Whistledown vibe of it. And I can assume that the lady with the red hair is supposed to be Penelope, but if that's the case, then who's this blonde lady? Because it's not Eloise, because Eloise is described as a brunette and all the Bridgertons are brunettes. It would not be Cressida Cowper, so who is this lady? Who is she? And also, if it is supposed to be Penelope, wouldn't Penelope be the one whispering? It's okay, I like the fun of this cover, but there is another cover that takes this idea and executes it better later on that I'll talk about. I feel like if I saw it, I'd probably pick it up just because it highlights the more like fun parts of the novel, like the comedy of the novel a bit more. But yeah, I think it could have been done a little bit better, but for 2006, I'll allow it. Then this is the 2015 version. This is the US one. It actually comes with a second epilogue, which I think is really cool. However, as you can see, whilst the UK tried to focus on the more of like the comedic side and the gossipy side, this time they've gone a little bit more minimalist and a little bit more sensual, because we've got a mirror on bed sheets here. Now, maybe, I don't know how to feel about it. The mirror definitely alludes to like the mirror scene, which is very similar to like the mirror we have in the Netflix version of the book. I feel like the show really amped up the mirror scene, whereas in the book it's really like a blink and you miss it line. There's no actual mirror scene in it. It's just, he's just like, I want to do it in front of a mirror, and then that just never happens. I think like the bed sheets and that like kind of like the hint of spiciness is a nice touch. Maybe it's just me and my taste, but like I feel like obviously the font is very similar to what we saw in the first few editions, and I feel like the mix of like the modern day photography but the old like Mills and Boon style font, I don't know, I just feel like I don't like it. I just feel like if I came across it in a shop I wouldn't pick it up. And that's really bad to say. I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but what is this video? I'm literally doing that. I don't know. It's okay. Like, it's fine. Yeah, I think there are better covers out there, but yeah. Okay, so this is the version that I think is the most common. This is the cover that most people will have. There's two versions here. One is the paperback made by Avon, which was published for the US, and that is the same cover as the hardcover by Generic. And then the other one is the UK version of the book, which is published by Piatkus. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation of the word. When you first look at these two images, you would think they are exactly the same, but they're actually different. The UK one I prefer because it's less busy, there's less text on it. It has the Sunday Times best-selling author tag at the bottom, and it's really small, so you don't really notice it straight away. Whereas on the US versions, it's big New York Times bestseller on top, and it covers most of the image. Also, like, the Bridgerton font on the US cover doesn't match like the little Netflix Bridgerton. on like the little sticker that you annoyingly can't take off, whereas the UK version does, and I just like the cohesiveness better. In terms of the actual image, this is very cute. I love that it's Colin and Penelope in such a cute embrace, and I love that they did recreate this for one of the promos. I love that. And I love that her hair's red, she's in yellow. Overall, like, I like this. It's cute. I haven't got this version yet, but I do want to get it. Now this is the 2021 Once Upon a Book Club limited edition hardcover version of Romancing Mr Bridgerton, and it is so close to being perfect. The illustration of Penelope writing at her desk and Colin watching over her is beautiful, and I love the ornate decorations surrounding it. I just have one problem. Why is she not a redhead? It would have been so easy to do. She looks like, it looks like it's Eloise. Like, this could easily be the cover for To Sir Philip with Love. Like, if you had just made her a redhead, this would be perfect. Here we have the Illumicrate exclusive Romancing Mr Bridgerton, and this is just perfect. It's a beautiful shade of green, and obviously Bridgerton is blue, Penelope is yellow. It mixes into a beautiful green, and it's a beautiful minimalist kind of cover where it only focuses on the quill, and obviously Lady Whistledown and Colin's journal. The writing aspect of the book is so important, and it's just perfect.
Everything, down to the last minute details.
I would love to get this version. In fact, I'd love to get the whole set someday, but I don't think it's gonna happen. This is the Kindle edition from 2023. I love the concept of them holding hands. That's really cute, and at sunset, that again, I can see the idea, but the overlay covering the holding of hands, and then just the Bridgerton on top, and then Julia Quinn at the bottom in the most basic font. It looks like a Photoshop job that was done in 2 minutes. It's so lazy. This could have been done so well, like, but it's just crap. Now we are on the Netflix edition that came out this year. Again, this was published by Portuguese, and the American version of this was published by Avon. Again, I prefer the UK version because it's less busy than the American version. The American version has like Shondaland and Netflix like plastered on the cover underneath the Bridgerton logo, and it's like, do we really need Shondaland on the cover? It's like, we've already got the Netflix sticker here. Did the American cover really need to add Netflix and Shondaland here as well? Like, I think we get it. Also, I think even though I wish these books didn't have like the Netflix stickers on, having it in black as opposed to like the bright white, I think just blends in a bit better, makes it less distracting. The one thing I do think is missing from the UK covers of the Netflix version, and just like these versions in general, is that they don't have the blanks story tagline on them. This doesn't have Penelope and Colin's story on them. This one, but of the Viscount Who Loved Me, doesn't have Anthony and Kate's story, and I'm like, that's a shame, but I suppose it makes it less crowded, so I get it. I'm really happy to have this version because I really wanted a version of the book with Nicola and Luke on it. I would have loved it if maybe they recreated the other book, I suppose, like they did in the promo. That would have been really nice. Like, obviously it's highlighting the fact that Penelope's blooming like a wallflower can bloom under the sun, and then Colin's like looking at her and kind of like realizing, oh shit, why haven't I been with Penelope all this time? And also like the mirror. So yeah, I do understand why they've gone for this. But yeah, but you know, like, this is my ticket from the Bridgerton Part 2 premiere in London, which I got to do press for. I think this is a much better image, honestly, but that's because, you know, it's got like the whole Whistledown thing, but that's, you know, that's my opinion. Okay, these are the Juniper hardcover books. They were done quite recently. Juniper Books, like, I think they're like an independent American publisher, and they do like these like limited edition exclusive beautiful sets for tons of different book series, and for Bridgerton they kind of like recreated the scenery that you see in like the opening titles, and like, you know, just like where people promenade, and it's just so gorgeous. And again, it's kind of like each book has like just one illustration that kind of highlights like the main focus of the book. So obviously Romancing Mr Bridgerton is again the quill, and it's beautiful. These like you can still buy, but they're quite expensive because look at the quality, like they're just stunning. Okay, this is the brand new collector's edition that's coming out. It's hardcover, it's by Avon, and it's actually 2-in-1, so it's An Offer from a Gentleman as well as Romancing Mr Bridgerton put into one book. I really like it. I love like the foil kind of, I don't know, the foil lamination, is it? Or the foil decoration on it. I like pink, so I'm happy with the colours. I do wish with the colours that maybe they were a bit more synonymous with Benedict and Sophie and Colin and Penelope, but I suppose that's hard to do when you're combining two couples. Like, I suppose you could argue that green is the combination of Colin and Penelope, but then pink, I don't know. Does Benedict and Sophie correlate with pink? I'm not sure. The illustration of the man kissing the hand of the woman is nice because you could have that be Benedict and Sophie as well as Colin and Penelope. I do think it's a good idea to combine those two books together because obviously both books contain the "and I would certainly never marry Penelope Featherington" scene in them, so that's good. I've actually ordered this, it's not arrived yet because it literally got published like 2 days ago. And yeah, I wanted a really nice fancy hardcover version of the book, so I'm very excited for this. Yeah, I think it's very, very beautiful, and I want to collect the other books in this series as well. It is taking me so long to edit this video that, you know, I'm halfway through and my hardcover copy of not only An Offer from a Gentleman and Romancing Mr Bridgerton has arrived, but also my hard copy of The Duke and I and The Viscount Who Loved Me. And yeah, these boys are units. I could kill someone with this. Also, they come with the second epilogues, so that is really, really nice. I will say that I'm a bit annoyed because I literally got these today, and my copy, like the green foil, is already kind of rubbed off in some parts. So yeah, that sucks. I ordered these from America, so it's not like it's going to be easy for me to like take these back. But aside from that, I'm still like really happy, and they're so pretty. These are just so beautiful to admire, like it's stunning. I will say though, that I shouldn't really be saying this because this video is about Romancing Mr Bridgerton. I'm not happy that the lady silhouette is in non-Regency dress. Again, you had one job, whereas thankfully for Benedict and Colin, it looks historically accurate, so slay. Okay, all the English versions are done. We can now focus on the international versions, starting off with Spain. So we've got 2 Spanish editions here. The first one is 2005, and the book translates to Seducing Mr Bridgerton, so not too far off from Romancing Mr Bridgerton. The first cover is from 2005. I think it's a beautiful illustration. I love the way it's been painted, and again it's very minimalist. It just focuses on like the quill and ink, pen and ink aspects of the book. It's nothing too crazy. However, the 2020 edition I love because it's everything that I think needed to be fixed about the 2006 UK cover. First of all, the lady that is now with Penelope is a brunette, and doesn't she just look like Eloise? Like, obviously they're wearing the wrong dress, like they should be wearing the other dresses, but now it just looks like Eloise and Penelope having tea in the Bridgerton drawing room, and I love it. And it still has like the whole kind of gossipy aspect of it, so yeah, this is what the 2006 cover should have been. I love it, it's so cute. Germany, I love you. You were given the task to give us your version of the Bridgerton books, and you delivered constantly. Did you know that the German translation of Romancing Mr Bridgerton is titled Penelope's Spicy Secret? I think we should just rename everything to that. Also, the 2007 cover is just beautiful. It's definitely calling back to the original like step back illustration. I also love like she's in like a yellowy gold and Colin looks beautiful and it's in a beautiful garden. It's just such a beautiful painting. Like you'd almost want this image with like without the text, just as its own like painting. Also kind of reminds me of the way Colin and Penelope are positioned when they're looking in the mirror in episode 5 of season 3. It's just perfect. I love this. The 2010 version I don't love. It's just not really giving Bridgerton. That's not Penelope, that's just a random lady. But it's okay because Germany made up for this. Germany made up for this. Let's talk about the 2022 version. Obviously they've got models here as opposed to illustrations. But look at this. It's Colin and Penelope walking arm in arm. And they've got, like, the height difference is perfect. They've got Penelope in yellow with red hair walking off together. Like, that's just, they're having a promenade. It's just so cute. I love it. And then, oh my god. So this hasn't technically come out yet. This comes out in October, but it's the special edition HarperCollins hardback. And oh my god, all the books in this series look stunning and I want one so badly. If they print these in English, I'll be so happy. Like, look at it, because obviously it's got the quill, it's in yellow. I love it. It broke my heart to find out that they currently aren't printing them in English, but I hope that by the time these come out in October, I really hope they've announced an English version. Please. On to the French versions of the books. This is interesting because so far every version that we've come across is either focused solely on Penelope or focused on Penelope and Colin, whereas for the French versions of the books they only focus on Colin, to the point where the book series is called The Bridgerton Chronicles and the 4th book is just titled Colin. Like, technically it's The Bridgerton Chronicles Colin, but really the book's just Colin. He's just Colin. What I love about the 2010 version of the book is that obviously they're focusing on the quill, but rather than the quill symbolising Lady Whistledown, it's focusing more on Colin and him writing his journal. Like, we see Colin's journal in this, and it's about his journey as a writer rather than Penelope's. And I just thought that was really, really cool. The 2016 cover, it's okay. It's just, you know, it's just a basic Regency man. It's fine. The 3rd version, where it's just the arm and a rose, it's okay. I think the colour grading makes it very bland, but there is another book cover that takes this idea of the man's arm and executes it so much better, so we will get to that. France combined books 3 and 4 in 2021 and made a very simple kind of cartoonish illustration of Bridgerton House. I have nothing really to comment on this. It's certainly a book cover. For Quebec, they focused on Colin's silhouette with a stately home and they put it in yellow, and yeah, it's cool, it's sweet, it's like Colin, you know, immersed with Penelope, and I think that's really nice. That's cute. It's cute. Okay, now we're with Indonesia, and the title is just simply Romancing Mr Bridgerton. I like the 2010 version because obviously it has a redhead as the model on the cover, so it kind of resembles Penelope. She is kind of also looking a lot like Edith from Downton Abbey, but it's cool, it's cool. The second version from 2018 I don't like. I suppose, yeah, it's got like the, oh, I've got a secret, I'm kind of like mysterious vibe, but it's not really Penelope. I feel like this could be like the cover of any book. It's not giving Bridgerton. For the Turkish books, the title translates to If Dreams Come True, which I think is actually really, really sweet. First cover, I really like it, like as a standalone illustration, but it's not even really, it's giving more Downton Abbey / Great Gatsby more than Regency Bridgerton, but yeah, like I really like it, but I just don't think it was right for this book, and the series in general. The second cover from 2019, like, it's pretty with the flowers, but it's like, it's not particularly interesting. Italy. I am Italian, so I feel very, very proud of my heritage and of the Italian versions of Romancing Mr Bridgerton. First of all, the title translates to A Man to Conquer. Bellissima, bellissima, beautiful, beautiful. I mean, it's not quite as fun as Penelope's Spicy Secret, but A Man to Conquer, hell yes. The original cover from 2007 is really sweet. You know, it's Colin picking up Penelope and embracing her. Penelope's a bit of a redhead. Funnily enough, this Colin looks a lot like Benedict, but you know, this was 2007. The cover from 2021. Hello. This is how you do a cover of a Regency man's arm, France. This is the sleeve. The sleeve and then the hand on the cane is so cunty. It's, oh my god, like, it's so stylish. And I would expect nothing less from Italy and a book titled A Man to Conquer. That man will be conquered. For the Vietnamese print of the book, I think they kind of misunderstood the assignment. When I looked at this cover, I immediately thought, wait, is this not An Offer from a Gentleman? Because if you didn't know, An Offer from a Gentleman, which is Benedict's book, takes place at a masquerade ball. That's how Benedict meets Sophie. There is no masquerade ball in Romancing Mr Bridgerton, so this cover does not make sense. And I thought Goodreads must have made a mistake here, so I copied the title and pasted it into Google, and nope, it just kept coming up as the Vietnamese version of Romancing Mr Bridgerton. And then when you translate the title, it translates to Forgot You After Prom Season. Where does Colin forget about Penelope? And when does Penelope forget about Colin? Where's the logic?
This doesn't make, logic. Where's the logic?
And when you say prom season, I'm assuming it's like trying to translate to like balls and like the Regency balls, or alternatively promenade, and not like, you know, high school prom. This doesn't make sense. And this wouldn't even make sense if this really was for Benedict's book, because the whole point is that after the masquerade ball, Benedict can't stop thinking about the lady in silver, so he certainly doesn't forget. So this title and the image does not make sense at all. You failed. For the Japanese print made in 2008, we've got this cover. The title translates to Keep Only Your Love a Secret, which partly makes sense, I guess, because it's like Penelope keeps her love for Colin a secret for a really long time. As for the book cover, I hate it. It's a really bad Photoshop job, and the model doesn't even look at all Regency. That picture looks like a stock image that could have been used for anything. This is beautiful, actually. So this is the Czech version of the book. Wallflower, that's really beautiful. That's so nice. Like, if this wasn't called Romancing Mr Bridgerton, and if this wasn't part of like the Bridgerton series and was more of a standalone book, I think Wallflower would be like the perfect title. I also love the cover as well, because the image of Colin and Penelope is kind of harking back to the original step back illustration, in terms of like the colour of her dress and what Colin looks like, and yeah. And then I love the green kind of border around it, because it just kind of gives the sense of like a garden, and again wallflower, and yeah, I just think it's really beautiful. For more of a classic older cover, I think it's really nice. And speaking of older covers that I think are really nice, the Slovak cover from 2004. I want this so bad. Again, the image is very similar to the original step back, but they've kind of changed Penelope's clothing to make it less revealing. The different shades of blue they've picked are so vibrant and so beautiful, and obviously blue Bridgerton, it just works. I love this so much. I would love to pick this up if I ever came across it. As for the 2021 version, it just looks so cheap and so tacky. I appreciate that they've gone with like the quill in the book, but it just looks so ham-fisted in. It's just... And the dress is crap. The Hungarian versions, I don't understand. What am I looking at? Is that a hat? Is that the inside of a hat? Or like a weird cushion? I don't know what I'm looking at. And the 2021 version is just boring. Oh wow. A black fireplace and a candelabra, how exciting. So there are quite a few different Portuguese editions of Romancing Mr Bridgerton. So starting off with the 2014 version, it was translated to a grand reveal or the big reveal. I don't like this cover. This girl is clearly a stock image that could have been taken from literally any book ever. Not wearing anything remotely Regency or historical fashion like, pasted on top of a picture of a random pretty house. Boring. The second cover from 2016 I really like because it actually tries to look historical. Like the hat's kind of concealing her identity a bit, so it's like, ooh, Lady Whistledown kind of alludes to that. I also like the font for the Julia Quinn. It's interesting because the title is translated to Colin Bridgerton's Secrets rather than like Penelope. But yeah, what's the secret? He likes to write a book about travelling. That's pretty much it. The 2021 version, I just don't like the fact that the dress isn't right for the Regency period. The dress is giving more, what, 1840s, 1850s? Like it's 30 years too late. When Romancing Mr Bridgerton set in 1824, would it have really been so hard to just pick a girl in a Regency dress? And then we have the other 2021 cover, and this is good. This is good because it's Penelope writing by the window, and obviously we know that in the show she loves to look out the window to see the Bridgerton house, and I just love that attention to detail of the cover. I mean, the only thing that's stopping this from being like really good is the fact that it's a blonde model, not a redhead. But I love the fact that they've got her like sitting by the window. Now we have the Slovenian edition of the book, and it translates to Love with a Charmer, and Colin would hate the fact that it's called that because he hates being called charming. I like the outfit, and the kind of scenery reminds me of the scene in the book where she's trying to deliver her new article in the church in the city, and then Colin is like stalking her. So it's really giving like mystery. However, what ruins the cover for me is the fact that the model is just so like, if they at least put her hair up to kind of make her look like she's actually in the time period that she's supposed to be in. Like, it just looks like she's just left the club. She's like left the club in 2012 and then she's just put on a Regency frock. Now we have the Croatian versions of the book, and they're simply called Sir Bridgerton. The first one from 2015, it's okay. It's basic. There's really nothing much to say about it. The 2018 version is nicer. I like this because it actually focuses on the letters. I know the letters are more of a show Penelope and Colin thing rather than a book Penelope and Colin thing, but I just thought that was like a nice touch, you know. And I suppose in this case this is kind of relating more to Colin's journal rather than Penelope's column. And I like the rose, just like the fact that it has letters. Like they've added that element, and I think in retrospect that makes it a better cover than when it came out. Okay, Greece. I love the 2017 cover for the Greek version of the book, because even though Penelope's dress is very much 1880s when it shouldn't be, it should be 1820s, the actual scene that the book cover is depicting, doesn't it instantly remind you of Berkeley Square? I know it's not raining and that she's probably holding a parasol for promenade as opposed to like an umbrella, but when I first saw this I instantly thought, oh my god, it's like the Berkeley Square scene. And It's probably unintentional, but I just like the fact that the cover somewhat recreates a scene from the book, and I wish we saw more of that. It wasn't intentional, but I like that. If she was wearing like a Regency style dress, and again, if her hair was red, this would have been perfect, but I like it as it is as well. 2023 version, I mean, it does remind me of one of the waistcoats that Colin wears in season 3. Apart from that, it doesn't really tell you anything about the book. For the Polish covers, the first cover, I just don't like it. Like, yes, they've got a redhead writing, but again, she looks like she just walked out of the club. This is modern day Penelope. Like, she's just walked out of Inferno's, you know, she's seen a lot of drama go down, and she's like, right, I gotta write about this. I've got an early Uber, and I need to write about this. However, it is kind of reminding me of that scene in episode 8 where, like, Penelope's writing a letter to the Queen, and she just looks up and goes, like, she had to serve. She had to pause and serve. That's what it's reminding me of. As for the 2021 cover, it's very, very similar to like this style of cover, and I've kind of just realised that clearly the company that takes all these photos with these models obviously take a billion different versions of photos with these actors and different combinations, and then just loan them out to all the different publishers across the world, because you'll notice that this guy here, the silhouette seen in the Canadian cover, this is the same person in the same outfit. It's literally, that is the image, just as a yellow silhouette. This is supposed to be Anthony. This is the Swedish one from 2020. It translates to An Inevitable Longing, which is, it's a good title, it makes sense for them. But the cover's just very boring. Yeah, just a woman just looking at the camera and then a pretty house. I wouldn't pick it up in a bookshop if I saw it. The Dutch Flemish one's really, really cute actually. It's, you know, we've seen quite a few covers now of Penelope writing, but I just think this one was done nicer. Like, the dress is so much prettier, the hair's done really nice. If it was a redhead, this would be perfect. I just think a bit more effort was put into this versus some of the other versions of this cover we've seen. This is the Romanian cover from 2013. It translates to The Seductive Mr Bridgerton, and I don't like this cover just because it doesn't accurately represent the book. Completely wrong time period. This is Rococo / Georgian, not Regency. This is a blonde lady. Who is this lady? Like, it's trying to make the book steamier than what it is. It's just not, this isn't an accurate depiction of the book, so I don't like it. And then this one, I'm sorry, why is a lady from the Tudors on the front cover? This is the Danish cover from 2020. Very much like my historical accuracy, which is ironic considering Bridgerton is not historically accurate at all, but if she was in a Regency dress, then it'd be fine, but she's not, so yeah, nice photo, and I like the dress, but it's not right for this book. This is the Serbian cover. The title is Inevitable Love, and it's very sweet. I love it. You know, it's Penelope and Colin in a sweet embrace under the moonlight, you know, under the moonlight, kind of like the original step back illustration. But do you notice anything familiar with this image of this Penelope and Colin? It's the same picture as the standard American and UK cover. It's just that in the American and UK cover they photoshopped the model's hair red and changed the colour of her dress to yellow. It looks so obvious that they did that. This is so hard to get a model with red hair. I know these are stock images, and I know that like they have done these photos for not just Bridgerton but for a million different historical romance books, but is it really so hard to find one model with red hair? First of all, like, the original Russian cover from 2008 is so beautiful. So beautiful. I love the fact that Colin actually looks a little bit like Luke Newton, like they predicted it. And they have got Penelope as a redhead in her green dress, So doesn't this scene instantly make you think of the eclair scene at the beginning of the book? The Penelope on this cover kind of reminds me of Judy Garland, so it's giving me like also like a vintage film vibe as well. I just think it's illustrated so well, and I love like the blue background surrounding it. I think they also released a version that didn't have this blue background, so I think that's really pretty as well. And then they did the 2021 version with real models, and see, they bothered to get a model with red hair, or at least if it isn't actually red hair and it's just photoshopped, they at least did a better job than the UK and American covers. And I like that they tried their best to kind of get models that resemble Luke and Nicola a little bit more than the other models we've seen. I really like the amount of detail that they went to. It's not perfect, but I appreciate that they've taken more effort with it than some other covers. I also think the Penelope in this one just looks really, really cute. And the other cover they've got from 2022, it's more illustrated, it's kind of going back to the 2008 cover. I don't particularly like it because it's like that's just not Penelope. Also, the title translates to Where Love Reigns, and I just think that's cute. Nearly at the end now. So this is the Bulgarian cover. It's To Flirt with Bridgerton from 2022. Again, is there something familiar about this book cover? If they'd gone for all the effort to make her dress yellow, couldn't they have made her hair red? I just don't know, I just feel like I'm cheated. I don't know why, I just feel weirdly cheated when I see this. That they're making us think it's Francesca, but then in another country they think it's Penelope. I just feel cheated. And lastly, we have the Hebrew cover from 2023, and the title translates to Courting Mr Bridgerton, and I really like that because, you know, it's got the Regency lingo. I just think it sounds sweet. Even though they don't technically court, and we all know Colin would never dream of courting Penelope, not in your wildest fantasies, wife. But in terms of the cover itself, it's cute. They've got a girl in a Regency dress that's yellow, and Colin's caressing her cheek, which is very sweet. I like it, it's cool. And that is it. That is a lot of covers, and I've probably missed some, and I'm really sorry if I have, but I hope you like my opinion. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please let me know which covers you like best and which ones you don't like. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.